Make sure that they're nice and clean. Make sure your toenails are trimmed. Make sure they're not very long. You can take and use, I usually dip my hand in the soapy water and just rub their comb in their face just to kind of clean it off. You can also use a toothbrush, but you want to make sure you don't get soap and water in their eyes and ears. And then you're going to repeat those steps in the clear water to rinse all that soap off. With most birds, if it's a nice day outside, you can just place them outside and let them sun dry. If you have a soft feathered or a large, like a cochin or a silky, something that has a lot of fluffy feathers, you can blow dry. Any other questions? Yes?
What about the vent?
What about the vent? Why are we inspecting it?
Because it's usually one thing that I want to do is show chickens.
Mm-hmm. So we're inspecting the vent because that is where most of your external parasites are going to be found if they have it. They like warm places, so they're going to be found around the vent and under the wings. So those are a couple of the places that we're looking for. Yes?
What happens if the pubic bone is bended?
If the pubic bone is bent or the breastbone?
The breast.
The breastbone. Well, in most breeds, that's not a disqualification, but it is a defect. It will get a couple points marked off. Yes?
What do the parasites look like?
They are either lice or mites, and I gotta remember these. I believe mites are either little reddish brown dots, and the lice are kind of a clear, creamy colored dot. You'll see them if they're live, you'll see them walking around, or you can see egg sacs, which are white powdery things that are stuck to the feathers. Yes?
If your chicken does have a bended breastbone, is there a way to fix it?
No, that's just one of the things that they are genetically disposed with, unfortunately. So you can't fix a crooked bone. Yes?
How do you clip the nails?
How do you clip the nails? You can use dog clippers, you can use fingernail clippers, but you just want to you want to take and not get them too short because they do have a quick in there, which is blood. It's what's growing. The nail is growing around it, and so you don't want to clip it too short. If you do, they do have blood stop, or you can actually even just pack it with flour, anything to stop the bleeding. So you can just use dog clippers or fingernail clippers, human fingernail clippers. Yes?
How are you removing on the roosters the spurs when they keep growing? What's your best tactic to get those trimmed down?
I like using a spur saw.
A spur saw? Okay.
And it's basically a little mini hacksaw.
Okay.
On small breeds, you can twist them off.
Okay.
There will be some blood, but it will dry up.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like, if you're familiar with cattle, it's kind of like
Yeah.
if they knock the shell of the horn off,
Mhm.
they're left with the quick, it dries up, and it becomes
Okay.
becomes a horn later. Yes?
What if the chicken loses one spur and it doesn't lose the other one?
It's okay. There's the only thing in the standard as far as, and that's what the birds are judged on as far as standard, as far as characteristics and spurs, is there are some breeds that it's disqualification for no semblance of a spur. So that's one of those accidents that happen, unfortunately. Yes?
How do you get rid of the parasites?
Okay, good question. There are some poultry powders with permethrin in them, is what it's called, and you dust them. And there are also some sprays. I don't have any particular brands that I recommend, but you use a poultry dust and pour a spray on it. Any other questions? Does anybody want to come up and practice showmanship? Okay. Can I get one of your birds out?
Sure. We got two. So
Let you. Luckily, she's pretty easy to hold. So, all right. Ah, good question. I should have went over that first. The proper way to hold a chicken is from the front of them, you're gonna take your hand, you're gonna slide it under the bird. You're gonna make sure that there's one finger on top of the leg, one finger on the bottom of the leg, and you're gonna squeeze them together so they feel secure. Your hand on top of the bird and against your stomach. Okay. All right. Yep. Put your hand on her back. There you go. And pick her up, and you want to go ahead and squeeze those legs so she feels secure. You're not going to squeeze too hard. You're not going to hurt them. Okay? Okay, so the first step is going to be to examine the head. So you're going to hold her up like this, okay? And hold her sideways so they can see what you're doing here. Just hold her this way. And bring your arm right there. There we go. And now you're going to examine the comb. Make sure that it's straight and that it has the right amount of points. You're going to examine the wattles, which hang here below their face. You're going to look at the eye.
One of our chickens would not be good with this. The other chickens, they peck at right here, so
you're going to examine the nostril to make sure that they're clean and clear. And then you're going to do the other side. The same thing on the other side. So the comb again, the wattles, the eyes, and the nostril. Okay? Then you're going to face her towards you. And there's an elbow, a corner right there, a bendy part on the wing. You're just going to kind of pinch it there and spread her wing out. So if you turn your hand upside down like this, turn this hand upside down, and get like, there you go, and just pull that wing out. There you go. You can see the top, and you want to look at the top, and you want to look at the bottom. Okay? And then the same thing with the other wing. So can you do this, lay your hand like this on her, turn your hand upside down, there you go. And you're just going to get underneath that wing. There you go. And just hold it and spread it out. There you go. Perfect. Then look underneath it. Okay? Next step is the undercolor. So I'm going to start back here in the cushion area. And you're just going to pull the feathers up so you can see what color it is underneath towards the skin. And you're going to drag it across her back, into the neck, and look at all that undercolor. And then the next thing you want to do is smooth her back out when you're done. The next is the width of back. So you're going to come right here behind the wings, as close up behind the wings as you can. You're going to put your hand around her. You're going to drag it down until you find the widest part. You're going to keep your hand at that width and show the judge. There you go. Okay, now this next part can be kind of tricky. You don't want to face her towards you. Put your thumb on her head. And just roll her up against your chest there. There you go. Now go ahead and stretch her legs out. So you can hold her with your hand on the breast part. So bring your hand up to where the legs are completely stretched out with this hand here. So go ahead and tip her upside down. You're going to still hold her with this hand. Hold her legs with this hand. Here, go ahead and grab her again. Okay, now, face her towards you. Bring her up and face her towards you. Without letting go of the legs with this hand, tilt her forward against your chest there. Use this hand to support her down here, and just slide this hand all the way up to the end of the legs.
right here.
Yep, but see, you're still blocking the breast there. You want to expel, there you go. Now hold her legs tight. Okay, now, once we have her that way, you want to put your fingers in a pinch position. You're going to go up that breastbone. There you go. You're going to show that it's straight. Then you're going to go back down and start at the tip of that breastbone. Can you feel the tip where it starts? right there. And you're gonna bring your thumb up till you find the end of it. You're gonna leave your finger on the end there, just like this. Okay? You're gonna bring your thumb up till you find the end of that breastbone, and then show how long it is. Okay, now support her body again with that hand, and just roll her forward, and get her back into the position that you're holding her. Okay? Now we're gonna show the vent. So you're gonna keep her facing you. What you're gonna do is just push the tail feathers out of the way with your thumb. Use your thumb, there you go. And then pull those feathers down so you can see the vent. There you go. Okay. Next is the width of the depth of the abdomen. And that's this area below the vent, all the way to the tip of the breastbone. So you're going to put your fingers sideways right here. See it, feel that soft spot? See how many fingers you can fit? Well, she's good. 4. Okay, so you're going to hold 3 fingers up to show the judge. The next is the width of the pubic bones, and that's the 2 pointy bones on the top of the vent. You're going to see how many fingers you can fit between there. And then you're going to show the judge. When we feel the 2, there you go. How many fingers can you fit between there? And we'll get 2. Okay. Next is the legs and feet. We've already got it this way, so we're going to look at the back of the legs and feet. And you're going to run your thumb down it, make sure it's smooth, and then spread the toes. Just like this. So just spread the toes, and do the next leg. Spread the toes. Okay, then we're going to turn her around, put her back against our stomach, just like that. And you're going to look at the front of the legs. Okay, and then do the second one. And you just did your showmanship examination. Very good. Thank you. Yes? Sure. Okay. So now to hold it properly, you're going to take your hand, slide it underneath her, make sure the first finger is on the outside of this leg and the last finger is on the outside of that leg, and just squeeze together. Put your hand across her back and hold her like that. Okay? All right? So the first step is going to be to examine the head. So you're going to bring her like this. You're going to hold her there. And you're going to look at the comb. You're going to look at the eyes.